California Congressman Jeff Denham was the first Republican to sign on to the Democratic plan in the House. Congressman, good morning.
Chris, good morning. Thanks for having me.
You know, we had a little joke around here. We said you went from the Lone Ranger to the Three Musketeers, but I guess at least is a sign you're gaining a little momentum. How's it feeling there on the Hill right now among Republicans? Are you going to get more?
Absolutely, and I would just clarify that I don't feel like I'm breaking ranks. I'm actually supporting good, sound policy that's going to add to the greatness of America. I mean, I think that this is a bill that improves upon the challenges that the Senate bill had. I would disagree with the president. The Senate bill is not ready for prime. There is not going to be a vote in the House on the Senate bill. Both Republicans and Democrats have agreed that the border security piece in the Senate bill is very flawed. So we fixed that. So we added the Republican bill from the House that actually fixes that border security piece. I think that's something that's not only going to strengthen the bill, but they've also taken the amendment for the Enlist Act to allow immigrants to serve in our military. So I think that there's a lot of amendments to be had in this House bill. I do think that it's going to continue to be bipartisan. And while there are 3 Republicans on it now, I think there's going to be many more to come. The main goal here is
there going to be comprehensive immigration reform, though? Because I was curious to see that Marco Rubio seems to, and of course he was one of the original sponsors on the Senate side, seems to be backing away, now looking at a piecemeal approach. What are the chances of comprehensive reform, Congressman?
You know, I think it depends on how you define comprehensive. We need to address all aspects of reform. And so whether that's this bill or whether it's multiple different bills that the House brings up, I want to make sure that we're discussing every issue. You can't just build a bigger fence because we've got a northern border and a maritime border. We have internal security. We have a guest worker program. And we have to have a reasonable solution for the 11.5 million that are here. You can't just deport the entire state of Ohio. So we have to deal with a realistic solution that deals with all aspects of immigration. That's what this bill does, and I expect that our full debate on the House floor will take into account all of those various issues.
Well, you, like your 2 fellow Republicans who support this, represent a district that has a large Latino population. I think it's, what, about 40% of your district?
Yep.
And so, obviously, it is important to your constituents, important to the constituents of the others. But how do you convince other Republicans to join you?
You know, I think that that's an economic argument as well. I mean, certainly for me, not only do I have a large Latino population, but we're an ag community. We have a district that depends on guest workers. You know, we have a large Latino population in our schools, so we have to address this from a California perspective. But across the nation, you know, right now we just saw the fiscal shutdown. We're going to be dealing with that again in January. We need to have a long-term solution to this 17 going to $18 trillion worth of debt. Well, if you really want to fix it, immigration, undisputable, $1 trillion over the next 20 years. That goes to a big part of that debt. Also, if you want to save Medicaid, Social Security, having immigration reform helps us to do that as well. So there's an economic side to this as well. But as Republicans, we believe in family values. We want to keep families together. There are a lot of Republican principles in this immigration bill.
Well, let me ask you finally, because the president has said, and those of you, along with the president, who have supported immigration reform, it's been a long time coming for you folks, but he'd like a vote by the end of the year. Is that realistic in your mind?
I think it's not only realistic, it's something we have to get done, which is why this bill is so important. We've got to focus the entire House and get the American public to engage in this debate. The challenge with immigration is there is no fiscal cliff deadline, there is no debt ceiling deadline, or like with the Farm Bill, milk prices go through the roof at the end of the year. With immigration, this is something that Republican and Democrat administrations have punted for the last 30 years. So if we're going to get it done, we have to get it done by the end of the year before politics and the fiscal cliff ends up affecting a shutdown once again.
Congressman Jeff Denham, good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.